Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of the Power of Your Mind podcast. You are listening to episode number 167. I'm Victoria Gallagher, Law of Attraction hypnotist and number one best-selling author of the book Practical Law of Attraction: Align Yourself with the Manifesting Conditions and Successfully Attract Your Desires. And I'm also the founder of hiptalk.com and HypnoCloud apps, which gives you access to over 500 hypnosis recordings right in the palm of your hand. So be sure to download that app from the app stores today. And today I have a very special guest with me, Chris Burns. Christopher Burns dedicates his life to coaching men to activate their purpose, power, and prosperity. He has been coaching men, entrepreneurs, leaders, and professionals for almost a decade and works with clients one-on-one in group coaching, home study courses. He hosts live events, retreats, and masterminds. And Christopher's company coaches and teaches men through the Mastered Man curriculum, where men create their purpose manifesto, start to master the skill of channeling power, and download and receive their prosperity codes and implement the transcendence blueprint so they can leave their greatest legacy. He has interviewed 800 leaders, influencers, and experts sharing powerful growth strategies, mindsets, and teachers to empower his audience to find the bigger answers to life, resulting in over 500,000 views and podcast downloads. And so today, Christopher is going to be hosting, today, Christopher hosts the Mastering the Man Within podcast, and he is the founder of the Men Mastermind, a brotherhood dedicated to empowering men to become their ultimate creators of their reality, designing and living a life of success and fulfillment in every area of life that matters most to them. And as Christopher says, it's time to level up. And he can be found on the website menmastermind.com and on Facebook /TH3 Burns. And so today, Chris Burns is going to be sharing some of his insights on how to transform from scattered and confused into purpose-driven leader who gets results. So welcome to the show, Chris.
Victoria, thank you so much for having me here. It's going to be a blast. I am such a fan of law of attraction, manifestation, hypnosis, reprogramming our mind, being able to tap into our greatest potential. So I know we're going to have a great discussion here, and everyone who's tuning in by the end of this, I know they will be flying high on cloud nine and ready to take action and get results and make progress in their life. So thanks for having me here.
Thank you for being here. Yes, and you have like just, if you're not watching this on YouTube, which is another place that you can watch my podcast. If you're not, you got to go and check out this background. Check out Christopher sporting this amazing crown we talked about, and we talked a little bit about that. So, very, very interesting background and bio, and I'm really excited to dive in and see how Christopher can transform your life today.
I love it. And so everyone, so you come in and look, there's some really cool energetic properties, sacred geometry. I love learning the secrets of life and how life works and how to get what we want. And I have a feeling that you have that same passion, Victoria, of like, hey, how do I get the leverage out of the things that we have, our conscious mind, our subconscious mind, super conscious mind, right? All these different things that we can tap into to activate ourselves in our greatest life, abundance, prosperity, happiness, successful relationships. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of different things that we can dive into, but I know I manifested my queen, my fiance. I know you're in an amazing relationship yourself. I manifested her through the power of affirmation, repetition, and visualization of the woman of my dreams. I actually spoke her into existence on my 12-hour live stream many, many times. So yes.
Oh, that is
Yes.
amazing. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I've been doing some manifesting on a particular business dream and goal of mine. And, and I'm speaking that into existence. And every day it's like, it's becoming more and more real. And so, you can bring anything, you can
Mm.
manifest anything as long as you stick with it, you're committed to
Yes.
it, you're focused on it, you're focused on what you do want, not what you don't want.
Mm-hmm.
And so many times, and I found myself a little bit yesterday morning in the don't want aspect of it. It's like,
Hmm.
okay, I've got to switch that up
Yeah.
and remember to talk about what I do want.
Yeah, yeah, so true. It's so true. I just brought on a mentor into my life, and I've known him for a couple years, but we've just kind of been orbiting in each other's spheres. And just recently, he came out to speak at a workshop I was hosting in Arizona, actually. Sedona. I was in Sedona. Yeah, I know you're in Arizona
Ah,
too.
yeah.
So I was in Sedona hosting a Vortex of Abundance retreat there, and he came out to speak, and just his energy and his presence just lit me up. But one of the things that we have been diving into recently was kind of an untapped place of anger in within me
Mm.
that I get to express, and that anger is also linked to what I want and what I desire. And so, speaking to what you said, it's really important that people know, what do I want, and we focus on, or desire, or whatever the language is. What do I choose to create? There's all kinds of different connotations and words that you can use, but ultimately it's like, what do I focus on? What am I focusing on? What am I paying attention to? And do I feel good when thinking about that thing? And if there is unresolved, for me, there's like kind of unresolved anger, emotions, especially that kind of teenage persona or archetype who might feel frustrated or want to rebel in life or whatever it is, because I'm disconnected or not fully integrated with that version of myself. Then it can disrupt my life. And so, knowing what I want, expressing that, and expressing the emotions that might be underneath the surface will allow me to be a much more powerful manifester. So I think that the circumstances that we get in life, they are there to guide us. They're there as contrast. They're there as, hey, am I on track or off track with what I desire in my life? And it's, for me, it's all one big game, right? Life is a big video game, so to speak. And I'm making up the rules. And so I just get to make sure, hey, like, do I feel good? Am I feeling good about what I'm creating? If not, it's time to shift it, because I don't have to, let's say, subscribe to anyone else's beliefs or paradigms or programming that has been put into me from birth. So I think it's really important that we get 100% responsible, Victoria, about our life and what we're creating, and what we're believing.
I love that. That is so eloquently and so beautifully put. And, once a person actually realizes, because I do believe, I mean, so much of law of attraction really does come down to, listen, you get what you focus on, and we're responsible for our lives. We're responsible for creating and manifesting and bringing in what we want. It is up to us. It's not up to anybody outside of you. It is 100%. If you're waiting for your Prince Charming to arrive, but you haven't, all you're doing is talking about that there's no good people left on the planet, for a
Uh-huh.
relationship, then that is counter to what you want. And if you're not showing up as the person who that Prince Charming would even want to be in relationship,
Ooh. Ooh.
okay, then that's also something to take a look at. So, it's really interesting. And, and that goes for, I mean, I think every day I kind of get shown personally
Mm-hmm.
where, oh, it's like, why is this happening? It's like, and then you find out, and if you really open yourself up to that personal self empowerment and that personal self responsibility, that, it really comes down to, well, why am I overweight? Well, maybe it's because I'm eating more than I am expending energy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And, it's really as simple as that. So let's dive into, like, how did you get on this path? Like, just a real brief synopsis, like, on what was it that led you to, wanting to, help people to become more prosperous and become leaders and learn about their purpose. How did you establish that for yourself?
Well, the first thing I like to share is I'm so grateful for every single thing that happened to me along my journey, positive or otherwise, quote unquote, because it made me who I am today. So that's the one. Before I even dive into my story and sharing, I want to remind the audience and someone who's listening right now or watching, how do you relate to your story? Because it's great that we share our stories, and I think that's important so that you can relate to people and know what's possible and things like that. But pay attention to how we share our story, the words that we use, the metaphors that we use, things like that. And don't just listen to the drama of it, but zoom out and say, why did Christopher share that? Why did Victoria share that? Why do speakers say the things that they do on stage? And I'm committed to being a master at anything and everything that I do. So before I dive in, I just want to share that. And it's every opportunity to share your story is an opportunity to share who you are and what that journey has been like, so that you can stand upon that and reach your next level. So for me, I love the metaphor of life as a video game, because I loved video games growing up. I was actually before very shy and introverted, and I would be locked up in my room playing video games, afraid of the world, and just didn't know how to express myself. I didn't know how to fit in. I didn't feel like I belong. I think a lot of us experience those kinds of emotions. Going into college, I went to school for electrical engineering, got my degree. 6 months before I graduated, discovered network marketing, personal development, the whole world of what's possible blew wide open for me. It was amazing. And I'm so grateful for that. My best friend introducing me to something, and I was like so excited to be on this journey with someone who I loved, who I cared about, who I enjoyed being with, and I wanted to build something together. So that's just the type of person I am, the type of coach I am. I love masterminds where we can put our heads together and build things together and work towards solutions together. But I did that for a year, and that year was a lot of experience. It was about 10 years ago. A lot of experience of failing forward, learning where was I not the tough guy, macho man that I thought in my head, when in reality, was I willing to get up in front of people? Was I willing to get rejected in sales conversations? Was I willing to fail forward, right? And so there was a lot of walls that I had to come up against, Victoria. But that was, I would say, where my entrepreneurial passion and fire got started, is being introduced to that opportunity. And I learned that, hey, maybe this vehicle, this company, this timing isn't right for me. Did it for a year, and I said, okay, what's next? And so I'll share a little bit more about that. But concurrently, there was these two paths that I was going on in my life. One was the path of entrepreneurship, personal development, being the best version of myself. The other was hanging around my previous friends, partying, drinking, going to raves, getting into trouble. And so I got into this predicament, let's say, about a year after I discovered that network marketing opportunity. And I was at a rave, and I ended up selling ecstasy to an undercover cop. And
Oh.
I went to San Bernardino County Prison for 2 days. Thankfully, the charges were dropped. Case was dismissed. Nothing ever went on my record, but it was my wake up call, because I didn't know what was going to happen. I saw my life flash before my eyes. I thought I was throwing everything away, my degree, education, all the time and energy that my parents had poured into me, the love that they had poured into me. And I had this revelation of, like, God, I am God, source, universe, creator, whatever it is called, whatever you want to relate to it as. I am messing up. I am throwing my
Going
talents. What was that?
going to
Yeah.
jail will do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like surrender, like, oh my God, I am screwing this all up. I have such a beautiful, amazing life. Like, I'm being arrogant. I'm being greedy. I'm being, just ungrateful for the life that I have been given. Um, show me how to get through this situation. Show me how to get out of this predicament that I've wound up in. And I promise to dedicate the rest of my life to being the best version of myself and supporting others in doing the same. And so I got through that situation, like I said, without any real consequences, so to speak. Just scared, just really scared, got shaken up, got afraid, but no negative consequences, so to speak. But positive consequences were the rest of my life changed. I never went back into those kinds of crowds and those kinds of situation, that kind of mindset. And that was a big part that changed my life. I joined Toastmasters, hired my first life coach, and from there I was really inspired to pursue this path that I'm pursuing now. So I would say that was kind of a rock bottom moment, and I could share more, but that's an overview.
That is exciting. That's actually really exciting. I love hearing people's awakenings, their story on ultimately, how they got that epiphany, that moment, that shining moment. And, and sometimes it's a shining moment and sometimes it's, we either grow from inspiration or desperation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that obviously was kind of a moment where obviously these two roads were not in sync with each other, and one would win.
Yeah.
One road would win. So thankfully the road that you're on now is the one that won over, because now you're able to really inspire other people that
Mm-hmm.
maybe, trying to figure out what road they're on and
Yeah.
their journey and their path, and really helping other people to I mean, you never know who's listening to you on this podcast, your podcast, all of your Facebook lives, all of the things that you do, all of the different ways that you inspire people. You could be that coach for somebody that's
Mm-hmm.
helping them on that. So I just love how we're all connected on this journey, and it's really exciting. So I think one of the exciting things that I'm interested in, my audience is interested to hear about, is you help people to ultimately become more prosperous.
Yes.
And so what's one way, what's a technique or a skill or quality that you can instill that understanding of how a person can go from, I mean, everybody's curious about, being more prosperous. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if that necessarily just only means financially, or if that also
Mm.
translates into other areas, but define prosperity and how our audience can become more prosperous.
Mm, I love it. I love it, Victoria. So for me personally, prosperity simply means that life is always providing more than enough. It is an infinite provider. There's an infinite amount of resources and solutions. And when I'm in a state of being tapped into that infinite abundance and resources and essence, then I'm being prosperous. And if I'm not tapped into that, then I'm in scarcity. I'm in survival. I'm in lack consciousness. So it is really a consciousness level that determines what do we see? What do we pay attention to? Because when you're in prosperity consciousness, you pay attention to all the things that are working. You practice gratitude. You do these things and habits that allow you to see, even if you don't live in your dream home yet, you can look around your home and say, you know what? Like, I'm so grateful for this house. I'm so grateful for the spaciousness I have. I'm so grateful that I can buy, 5, 10, $20 plants and put them in my house and start nurturing my environment and do what I can. So I think that's a big part, especially for people who want to cross that bridge of not feeling very prosperous to an extreme level of prosperity. It's start where you are. Start where you are in your current environment. What would make you feel just a little bit more prosperous? Maybe it's a massage. Maybe it's giving yourself that spacious massage and self-care. Maybe it's redesigning your environment, a cool background or sacred geometry like I have, or a picture, or whatever it is. But I think it's really important that people know that when we feel connected with the infinite resources around us, that's true prosperity. And so one of the books that really made a difference for me is called Feel Free to Prosper. I believe it's Marilyn Jeanette. And one of the best exercises she has, she's all about keeping it simple. She's not like, she doesn't want to keep it complicated, no complication. But there's this one affirmation that I love. And she has you write it 25 times a day for like 21 days in a row. And I've done it, me and Petia, my fiance, we've done it many, many times. And so the affirmation is, I easily accept new prosperity thoughts, and I am
Oh,
prepared to increase my income now.
oh, you know what? You know what I love about those affirmations?
What?
They're true. They're
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
because the affirmations that go like, "I am a millionaire, I am a money magnet." Okay, no,
Mm.
no, you're not a money magnet and you are
Oh my
not a
gosh.
millionaire. If you're saying, "I am a millionaire," you're probably not.
Yep. Yep.
You
Exactly.
know, if, you know, I don't necessarily believe that we are I mean, there's the energetic concepts, but really,
Mhm.
let's just be honest. Somebody's like, you are not a money magnet, because if you
Mm.
were, then
Mm.
you'd be magnetizing the money.
Yep.
So that is a say them again, because I
Yes.
thought I
Yes.
had them, and I just want to hear them again. I want the audience now, get a pen and paper and write these down and say these 25 times, because I love it.
Yes, yes. So this is it's one whole affirmation. The and is just I slowed down so you can digest it all, but it's one whole affirmation. So I easily accept new prosperity thoughts, and I am prepared to increase my income now.
Perfect. Oh, love it.
There's
Love
there's
it.
so much in there that I would love to like dissect and open up, at least how, as far as I've reflected on it, because I think it's really important that we recognize this. Another really powerful thing, just a side note, that she recommends is to repeat the affirmations: wealth, success, wealth, success. And she said to do it while you're like power walking or doing something that where you're moving, so it
Mhm.
deepens into the subconscious mind. Because if you have physical activity and you're breathing deeper, then I believe, and your mind's focused on something going somewhere, then I believe you receive that deeper. But so I easily accept, right? So easily accepting new prosperity thoughts. Prosperity thoughts. It's not even like I need prosperity. It's not even I need something physical or tangible. It's actually your thoughts. It's just the way that we look at the world, and I think that's such an easy shift for people to make. So that's a big one. So I easily accept new prosperity thoughts, and I am prepared. I am prepared. How many people feel unprepared, undeserving, unworthy of wealth and abundance and success? And I think that's like I'm not ready is plagues so many people from actually just allowing the abundance to come into their life, right? So I am prepared to increase my income now. Increase income. What is income? It is money, but it's also what you receive, things that are incoming, things
Mhm.
like resources, whatever it is that are incoming. And then it ends with now. And so that present moment of now, that now is all there is. The future is not real, hasn't happened yet. The past is gone, right? We don't have that anymore. So all we have is now, the eternal moment of now. And so I really just fell in love, or rose in love, with this affirmation, because it is profound. It's an epic
I
affirmation.
I love how you're very conscious about the words that you choose to use,
Mm.
and that you just said, instead of fell in love, you rose in love,
Yes.
because we say that you
Yep.
fall in love, but
Mhm.
really it is a rising. I've never heard anybody say that. I don't know. Did you make that up? Because that's wisdom. That's
Yeah.
gold.
Yeah.
I rose in love.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
why? Let's change the paradigm. We don't fall anywhere. We choose it. We
Yes.
rise to it.
Yes, I've heard that people are like, oh, that's deep, right? And that's good, that's valuable. My mentor says that's we're going higher, right? We're going higher. We want to be soaring with the eagles. We want to go up. We want to increase. We want to rise to the stars, to the heavens, to the abundance of the universe. And I really love that one as well. But it was me and Petia, my fiance, we love playing with words. We love hearing the little things that we can shift. So there's lots of little like reframes that we can use, but they make a massive difference. So you may have heard understanding. And so when you hear understanding, you are standing under someone or something, right? Why would we want to put ourselves under? So a common or a reframe for that, and lots of people say this, is inner standing. Instead of understanding, it's what am I understanding? I'm understanding what you're saying. I'm understanding that life is beautiful and abundant and prosperous. So that's a cool one. Another one that Petty and I created, instead of dating when we first started connecting with each other and getting to know each other, we said we are deeping. Right. We are deeping. We deep
It's
each
deep.
other. We're going deeper every single moment. So that's a deeper, higher kind of thing. But it's fun. It's fun to play with these things. And it also, for me, creates this specialness about the relationship, the inside language, the insider talk that I believe makes a relationship different, special, and unique.
This is beautiful. I'm really, really enjoying this conversation. And I think that it's so true though, that we take these so many of these words for granted, and people
Mm,
just they're very frivolous and flippant about the way that they say things, and they don't realize that these every word has an impact.
mm,
And so I just the mindset though of prosperity is what it sounds like. What you're saying by this affirmation ultimately is that I am creating the mindset of prosperity, because ultimately it's the mindset that's going to create that prosperity. So I'm willing to allow my thoughts to be more prosperous so that I can, because as our thoughts become more prosperous, we're going to create more prosperity. Prosperity is a mindset,
mhm.
really, is what you're
Yep.
kind of saying.
Yep.
It
Yeah.
it's
And I was going to say the
because if
big
you
part.
could be a millionaire, you could be
Yes.
a millionaire
Billionaire.
and a billionaire
Yep.
and not have a prosperous mindset, because
Mhm.
maybe you don't think that that is even enough, and you're not even grateful
Mhm.
for what you have, and you're living a life of misery because you kind of feel like something's wrong,
Yep.
and something's missing. But if you're grateful and you're practicing this feeling of gratitude, you're just gonna that's what you're gonna see, and that's what you're gonna grab hold of. And so I just love the all the little ways that you change the mindset to help people to appreciate the
Mhm.
prosperity that they are already gifted with.
Yeah, it's so valuable. And another component of prosperity is, is someone able to speak prosperously and feel in alignment and feel empowered with that. So this goes over into channeling power as well, because I believe channeling power is a function of your self-expression and your self-confidence, your self-esteem, who you're able to be. And we were at a retreat in Tulum in February. It's where I proposed to my fiance, and I'm getting married this Saturday, or Sunday, which
Ooh,
is
this
this
Saturday?
this Sunday,
Ooh.
June
Oh,
6th. Yes, 6/6. So it's going to be amazing. But the True Love and Tulum retreat, one of the participants, one of the exercises that we had was to get up in front of the other, it was an all women retreat. And so to get up in front of the other women and speak about another participant in a positive way, and to acknowledge her and to say why she was special. And she couldn't do it. Like she broke down crying. She was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so like difficult." And like, "I have nothing to say about you. How amazing you are." And just like kept hitting wall after wall of expressing who this person is in front of everyone else. And we said, "Okay, well, it's not really about the person. It's about you, right? Because if you take your focus off
mhm.
of you and what do I look like saying this, then you're totally over there with the other person. You're totally looking at them in the eyes and being like, you are so amazing. You got up, you're confident, you're radiant, you're feminine, all this stuff, right? Whatever might come up." And so there was a block in her to channel her power, to channel her self-expression. And so if you can't be unapologetically yourself, no matter where you're at, especially around the topic of money and prosperity and abundance, then you're going to have some blocks there. Someone's going to have the blocks that stop them from being able to allow and receive that money as easily. And so I'd say that's a big part of what I focus on with the men as well, forgiving ourselves, healing past traumas, so that we can stand in our power here and now and claim what we desire, what we are choosing, the prosperity that we're choosing, the wealth that we're choosing, the money that we're choosing. And I find that that's a big challenge for a lot of people, is to be able to speak into existence and say the affirmation, the creation, whatever it is that they are sharing. And I found that having a mirror, someone who can hear you and hear where you are out of alignment, where you are weak and wobbly, using these weak and wobbly words and uncertainty and things like that work into speech and speech patterns and communication patterns. Once we're able to get that out, then we're able to communicate and create much more effectively. And I wanted to share this one last point. Everything that we speak, we heard the word spelling before, right? Spelling words, spelling out words. Well, that actually comes from spell casting, like casting spells. Our words are casting spells in our reality. We are literally creating life and creating death with every word. And so think about the energy of every single word that you use. Are you bringing things up? Are you bringing things into life? Or are you giving death? Are you giving disempowerment? Are you giving negativity and bringing the frequency of life and the quality of life down around you? So for people who are tuning in right now, I'd say that's a big key: is, are the words that I'm using empowering people around me? Am I casting spells of empowerment, or am I casting spells of disempowerment?
That is beautiful. I love that you said that, because I do believe that the word, that is your power to manifest
Yep.
your word, nothing else. Not, it is ultimately, it comes down to that.
Mhm.
And it's, we could be using the word, when we use the word against someone else, even if we're saying negative things about somebody else, we're ultimately, it's kind of like you were saying, when the person was in front of that person, they couldn't come up with anything to say. Well, that is because everything goes through the filter of who you are.
Yep.
So if you're seeing something you don't like about that person, and you're saying negative things, and you're judging, you're using your, as the four agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz would put
Yep.
it, you're spewing emotional poison. It's really, ultimately, it's coming through your own filter. And so it's so disempowering. And so we really have to be very careful, and be very articulate, and
Yes.
pause, and think about the words that are coming out of, because like you said, we are casting those spells. Every single word, every single thought is creating and manifesting.
Hmm.
I love it. I do an exercise called, what am I manifesting right now? Um,
Oh.
what am I when you're starting to like notice yourself thinking about the thing that you don't want, that's how you catch yourself. I didn't make that up. I heard it on a Landria Anka video
Mm.
online and on YouTube, and I just love that process. And I've kind of incorporated that. What am I manifesting right now?
Mhm, mhm.
And it's wonderful.
I wanted to go as well. I want to direct the focus on who we're being, because I believe we both have a background in landmark. I could be wrong, but I think I saw that was a big part
Yep.
of my training. Integrity, that the power of our word. Integrity is such a fundamental aspect of, is what I'm creating, is what I'm speaking into existence. Does that have traction? Do people trust me? Do I trust myself? And I find a lot of people have broken so many promises to themselves and not cleaned up that integrity, not restored integrity, not brought integrity, workability, trust back to the situation. And so I'd say that's a big place that people can look to, is where in my life are things not working? And where are there unfinished promises and actions that I said I would do, but I didn't do, whether it's to myself, whether I didn't even make a promise to myself, but I just know to do it. Maybe I promised other people, whatever the case might be, is to look for those areas where I let myself down or let other people down, and to bring integrity back to that, because I think that's a key. So integrity is big. And I wanted to focus on who you're being as well. Who we're being can change in any moment. And one of the biggest things that I am grateful for that I've picked up along my journey is that we can change who we're being in any given moment. We can be whoever we want to be. We can step into any way of being. Now, might there be some resistance and stuff there with it? Sure. That's called your brain. Your brain wants to do what is most efficient and wants to be lazy, wants to protect you, wants to conserve energy, right? Wants to help you survive. That's the job of your brain. So there might be a little bit of resistance when you transfer into shifting into a new being and stepping into a new version of yourself. What I wanted to share about the words that we use is playful vigilance, because I find when we have this play, an element of play, perspective of play about life, and we're also being intentional, we're being precise, we're being vigilant about the words that we use about who we're being in the moment, that I think that's a really powerful frame to come from that allows us to be masters of our reality, that allows us to be the wizard or the witch or whatever archetype you want to use. That and by the way, there's usually some negative connotations around those archetypes, but I believe there's a whole story around that. But I feel that that happened because people are powerful in their inner energy, in their being, in their creation energy. So I find it's important that we also uncover where might we be bringing in stereotypes or limiting perspectives, limiting beliefs, taboos about things that are stopping us from manifesting wealth and abundance. And that's another great exercise, is to look at these different areas of money and write down what are our beliefs about money and situations that happen to us, and uproot those so that we can put in new programs.
That's awesome. I mean, this is very, very good advice, good information. So I want to know, what is the biggest lie that most leaders unknowingly teach about purpose?
Mm, mm. So I'm gonna share a quick story because I was alluding to it earlier. I went to Toastmasters in right after I had hit that rock bottom. I joined Toastmasters and I hired my first life coach. And this guy, his name is Lee Adams. He's based in Southern California. He had an electronics retail store like Fry's or Circuit City or something like that. And he had made millions of dollars. And I hired him because I wanted to create more success in my life. And I found out after working with him for a little bit that he had a really progressive level of cancer in his body, and he was showing up to Toastmasters and he was doing this coaching with like Bob Proctor and things like that, and teaching people how to create success in their life and in their mindset. This was I was like 22 or something like that, and I worked with him for about 6 months or so, and we were still friends after that. But he passed away shortly after I had stopped working with him in coaching. And something really hit home to me, Victoria, is that if this guy who had basically all the money that he needed and was fulfilled and doing what was important to him, had freedom, he was investing his time and energy into going to Toastmasters, into coaching people to help them achieve their goals and their dreams. I was just so moved by that in my soul, that he's giving everything to contribute, to leave his legacy, to leave his mark before he has gone off of this planet. And so for me, that was really inspiring, because I said, well, like in his last days, what was important to him? What was important was contribution, was giving back, was making a difference. And so for me, I think that really stuck deep into my soul to say, it's not about the money as much as really serving people. Money's great. I love money. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The more money that I have, the more good that I can do. I fully believe that. And to witness this man giving his last life force energy to contribute to others, it just really inspired me that that was his purpose. So what's my purpose? What is purpose? I think a lie that people hear is that you have to have some kind of purpose that is identified. It's specific, it's clear, it's you have a one sentence purpose that you can share at any moment. And it's like, that's cool. That's a cool place to get to. I invite everyone to aspire to get to that place. I highly recommend you have some kind of life document that shows you all the things that you want to be, do, and have in your life 100%. And for me, especially for people who don't know their purpose, guess what your purpose is? Your purpose is to find your purpose. Your purpose is the pursuit and the journey and the exploration and adventure to discover what lights you up. And purpose, I believe, is really what are the gifts that we're here to give this world? How can we contribute? How can we make our friends, family, community, loved ones have their lives be better off because we were here? And we all give different gifts. We have different gifts to give, different capacities for gifts, whether it's art, whether it's mathematics, whether it's coaching, whether it's marketing, whatever people have, whether it's just, I used to talk down on sports for a while because I was like, it's such a waste of time. Why would you go watch sports? There's so many better things you could do in your life. And I said, well, if it's someone's joy to go be a sports commentator or a sports physical therapist or play on a sports team or whatever it might be, then that's great, right? Like, I think if that's what lights you up, if that's what you're passionate about, if sports bring people joy and peace and whatever else, then that's great. Who am I to judge what people do and how they do it? But for me, my big focus is, how do I make this world a better place? How do I lift up the people around me? How do I encourage? How do I become a better leader? How do I share thoughts of wisdom to help others? So the big lie, going back to that, is that you have to have this perfectly articulated purpose. And for me, it's more about the journey. It's about being here and now. It's about enjoying who you are, where you're at. Make strides towards clarifying who you are, what you stand for, what are your values, and if you can rattle that off whenever anyone asks, then awesome. You are more advanced than most people, right? Most people don't have that figured out. But just because you have that figured out doesn't mean you're not going to experience the human journey or go through those experiences. So that would be my share on that.
I think that is so inspiring. And I couldn't agree more that there's no need to put yourself or your life on hold until you find your purpose. You're living in the purpose that you're meant to have in this very moment, and and it's a moment by moment basis. And your purpose can change. It's not
Yep.
like just one end all be all, I think sometimes we just put too much energy on the whole striving to find
Mhm.
a purpose. We have to, our purpose right now can change, from moment to moment. And I do agree, it is ultimately to find the purpose, and the purpose can change over time.
Well, there's so much pressure that we put on ourselves to be somewhere, to get somewhere. I love social media. I love the access that it gives us, the connection that it gives us, how we're able to connect with so many different people. And it's also opened up this can of worms of comparison. So people are constantly comparing each other, themselves to other people, to people with more success, to people who have more followers, more money, whatever it is. And that's just a total trap of your energy, of someone's energy and their life force that goes into comparison. And I want to be more like them. That's great if they inspire you. And I would say take that in really, really, really small doses and mainly focus on what lights me up. What gets me out of bed? What do I enjoy doing? What would be on my edge, on my growth edge? What could I do? Could I go skydiving? Could I go to a open mic night and get up in front of people and do some either poetry or comedy, stand-up comedy, or whatever it might be? Constantly challenging ourselves to grow, not as an obsession and this like treadmill and hamster wheel, but as a kind of like a way of life. Like, hey, I'm constantly looking at where's my comfort zone and how do I get outside of it. I believe that's a healthy place to be, to consistently keep stepping into the greatest purpose that we can live.
That's amazing. And I resonate with that so much. And, here's the thing. I have so many more questions for you. But we're like starting to get toward the end of our time together. And I want to make sure that I learn a little bit about, and our audience learns a little bit about your menmastermind.com and the
Ooh,
toolkit
yes.
that you've put together for our audience as a free gift today.
Mm. So before we dive into that, I really want to recommend men, especially women. You naturally gravitate towards circles and communities and masterminds. You're great at that. Men don't do it as often. So my recommendation for men is to find a tribe of guys who you resonate with. That's my focus. Is I didn't feel like I had that connection, that brotherhood and support to accomplish greater things. And that's why I created this company and this platform and this movement. So that's the Men Mastermind, and we have like you said in the beginning, live events, masterminds, coaching, all that good stuff. But the toolkit specifically, I created that because there's these, we'll call them like lies and myths that guys tell themselves that sabotage them from reaching their next level, from being the best version of themselves. So I created this toolkit as a way to identify where are those blind spots, where are the things, the mistakes that guys are making that are keeping them stuck at the level that they're at, as well as resources to help them power up. And it really goes a lot into the power channeling, or focuses around techniques around that, and giving guys back their power so that they can get into action. So many guys are sitting on the sidelines, waiting to feel good, waiting for the right time, procrastinating, all these things. So if you feel like you've been in that place, low motivation, low willpower, this toolkit is exactly what you need to get your power back. And whatever the resource is that resonates with you, maybe it's something like meditation that the toolkit goes into, maybe it's affirmations, visualization, exercise, whatever it is for you that's going to get you your power back. That's what the toolkit is there to provide you wisdom and insight on how you operate, where you might be stuck or stopped, and give you your power back.
That sounds like a very useful, resourceful, powerful gift that is multifaceted, that has all kinds of different goodies that you can use to ultimately get your power back, which is what, it's extremely important for a man or a woman to
Yep.
feel empowered and powerful. So, thank you very much for sharing that gift, and thank you so much for this wonderful conversation today. I think it provided a lot of really deep, rich insights. The affirmation you shared, the you know the un, uncovering some of the lies that we have been telling ourselves, and it's just been a wonderful conversation. I wish I could go on and on, but it's been a pleasure having you
Yes.
on the show, on the Power of Your Mind podcast.
Thank you, Victoria, and just a reminder to everyone who's tuning in, that the power of our mind is infinite, right? I truly believe that our consciousness, we're hooked up to some greater thing, whatever that is, God, source, universe, creator, and I believe that we are like made in that image and also one with that thing. So I believe that we truly do have access to that infinite power. It's about getting ourselves out of the way, and by being here, tuning into the power of your mind with Victoria and listening to these other guests, these other epic, amazing, wise, brilliant people. I saw you had John Gray on. Like, oh my gosh, you're surrounded by just wizards and amazing leaders, thought leaders. And I just really acknowledge you, Victoria, for what you're doing and how you're supporting your audience. And everyone who's tuning in, I hope you're subscribed. If you're coming from my tribe, subscribe to Victoria's podcast. And I know your audience and your people who are tuning in are subscribed and ready for more. And just keep doing the great work that you're doing. Okay.
Woohoo! Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in to the Power of Your Mind podcast. And be sure to listen every week, maybe twice a week, because we're getting so many amazing guests.
Yes.
And so, thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you for being a guest as well.